Good evening. It's a late one today for me. It's 11:30 at night. I'm recording this. Pitch darkness, but in the warmth of my studio / top office. It's the Brit Does Baseball season review series, and we're back. It's a solo show from me today, but I am, of course, joined by a special guest. Today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the Texas Rangers. Now, the Rangers, of course, are the World Series champs from a couple of years ago, but they've had a couple of years where it's been a bit middling for them, and this, the 2025 season in a nutshell was very middling, as they finished middle of their division with a perfect 500 record. But enough about the Rangers for now. Joining me all the way from somewhere in America is Jeremy. Jeremy, welcome to the stage.
Appreciate you inviting me in giving me the opportunity.
No problem at all. Jeremy's just one of the fans who reached out to one of our polls, wanted to come on the podcast, and we're about to talk Rangers for the next 35 minutes. But before that, we always start with a nice hot take. The segment's called Boo's Hot Takes. Boo's my greyhound. She likes to give the hot takes. She's on annual leave still. She's very, very lazy. She won't be back until March at this point. So this hot take has come from the Brit Does Baseball team. As always, we are going to be using a Nando's spice scale because everything should be measured in Nando's, in my opinion, and in the opinion of probably about 5 other people. So if you agree with a hot take, it's going to be a mild hot take. If you don't agree, it's going to be extra hot. And if you think it's so outrageous, it's not even on the scale, you can always use that secret spice that we say every episode. Jeremy, you ready for your hot take?
Yes, sir, I am.
So probably the earliest and biggest trade of the 2025 or 2026 offseason, I should say, was when the New York Mets and the Texas Rangers traded Marcus Semien for Brandon Nimmo. And the hot take is that the Mets won the Marcus Semien Brandon Nimmo trade hands down. Where have you got that on the spice scale?
I don't agree with that. I think that short term they might have won, but they've gained so much money. The Rangers winded up $5 million is what they kind of saved, and they got Nemo. I'm sorry, but I think he's an overall better player than Semien is. I think Semien is 35, 36 years old, kind of in his later years.
Yep.
I think that I don't know how much he has left on his system. I mean, I wasn't surprised by the trade, but I was very surprised that it was a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
Just because of that main reason. One of my friends asked me what I thought about the upcoming season, and as soon as the season ended, I'm like, one of these guys is going to be traded. I just don't know. I don't know if it's Seager or Semien, but Semien was the one to go. So I'm not really surprised by it. I think when your on base percentage is 26 for the Texas Rangers, that's pretty bad. And Nemo gets on base a lot more, and so putting him on the leadoff spot is going to be pretty good for the Rangers going forward.
Out of Semien and Seager, I would tend to agree with you that I could see one of them moving on. Both veterans at this stage in their career. Are you happy that it's Semien that's moved on and not Seager, or would you have preferred Seager to move?
The problem with Seager is his massive contract. I think he has a 10-year contract with it, so it's kind of hard for him to move him. Where would you put him at? I always thought that he was going to go to the Yankees because of that shortstop there. I forgot his name.
Anthony Volpe, the era king.
Volpe, yeah. So Volpe, I always thought that he's a better fit at the Yankees. But I knew that they were going to trade either one of them. I wasn't too sure if they were going to trade if they would trade both of them.
Nice.
So I'm just very surprised that they traded. I would guess that they would. Semien was a captain. I was very surprised on that.
Fair enough. So on the spice scale, are we saying it's very hot, or are we off the scale with it?
I think you're off the scale on this one. I think they both. I think that they both benefited from it. I think the Mets got a 3-year contract from it, and the Mets got a 3-year contract out of it with an older player, which kind of reminds me of Julio Franco, who played till he was like 50 or 60 years old with the Mets. That's kind of what it reminds me of. But Nemo is going to be a good player for the Rangers. It's going to be less pressure going on the next 2 or 3 years because they're kind of rebuilding, but not really.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I think both teams got what they wanted out of the deal. I think once the trade in itself looked a little bit weird initially, but then once you see what the Mets have done throughout the whole off-season, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil being traded, just seems like they've got Juan Soto and that's about it left, to be honest with you. They seem to have just down tools completely.
Yeah, I was very surprised with the Mets not doing anything. They still, there's still time left before spring training, but I'm very surprised with the Mets doing away with that. But I guess if your team does not win, it's time to change things up a little bit.
Yeah, and I guess they've always got Steve Cohen money. But anyway, enough about the Mets. We're here to talk about the Rangers. That was your hot take. Thanks so much for taking part. And we've got we don't get many Perry Tamer hot takes on these season reviews, so I'm glad I finally got one. Warms my heart a little bit. So we're here to talk about the 2025 Texas Rangers. So as I mentioned, the Rangers finished 81-81, a perfect 500 record, or not perfect if you're a Rangers fan. You finished third in the AL West, 9 games behind the Mariners. You were quite good at home, 48-33, and quite bad away, 33-48. And I think you had a bit of a slump towards the end. You did have an outside chance of getting into the wild card spot with a couple of weeks to go, but a 2-8 record in your last 10 wasn't going to cut the mustard, unfortunately. So my first question is, if you could describe the Texas Rangers 2025 season in one word, what would it be and why? You can hyphenate words if you want to bring some together.
I would say it would be the injury bug, because the majority of the players got injured either in the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, or they got shut down. So that was just the biggest issue with us as a team, that they were expecting to do pretty good, but they didn't because of the injuries that happened. You had Eovaldi coming down, you had Jock coming down, you had Carter going down for a little bit, Berger was in and out, Simeon was out. So considering all those injuries, they still did pretty good at 81-81. And then they had some young kids, Cody Freeman, Dustin Harris contributing to the team as well. Josh Smith coming in as well. So they did pretty well considering the circumstances, but they weren't consistent. Injury, but
yeah, it's not much you can do when half your best players are out injured. And I'm just looking at the games played on the positional side. Simeon 127, Jake Berger 103, Corey Seager 102, Jock Peterson 96. Those aren't Evan Carter 63. They're not numbers that would, if you're in the physio trainer room, that they wouldn't fill you with confidence for your job security going into next year.
Yeah, and then he had Young that was out, I believe, a few games too, that I remember. He was out a few games as well. So there was a lot of subs. There was a lot of being creative on that way, and with the Rangers.
No doubt. And we'll go into the players in a second, but it's we're just looking forward a little bit to 2026. A lot of the players, a lot of the old guard have sort of been let go. Jonah Heim and Corey Seager. Not Corey Seager. Jonah Heim and Adolis Garcia were non-tendered, surprisingly. Do you think that's in reaction to what a poor season this was on the positional side, or do you think it was just time for a refresh?
I honestly think that when Bochy left, they hired Skip Schumacher as a special advisor for 2024. So when they hired him, I believe that Bochy was either going to stay with us another year or two, and then they were just going to groom Schumacher into the position. So I felt like Schumacher had a general idea of what was going to happen. So yeah, but they got a catcher, and what's his name? I can't think of his name right now.
Carl Higashioka?
No, there's another one that they got. I have the Danny Jansen.
Yeah, Danny. Yeah,
so that is really going to help him out with the new pitch, with the prospects that they have coming in at AAA and AA, because he's more of a defensive guy blocking. From what I've seen, he's more of a blocking type of guy. So he helps mentor young pitchers. So that's really going to help out people that they have at AA and high A right now. They don't really have a lot of pitchers in AAA right now.
Yep.
But I think they needed more from from Helm. I can't forget. I forgot his name. Jonah.
Yep.
And then I think Jonah Heim. They needed a lot more people from that. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We'll talk about 2026 a little bit later, but we're going to go back to 2025. So we'll talk about on the positional side. As we mentioned, it wasn't, I think the biggest issue with the Rangers, especially sort of halfway through the season, was offense and lack of. Adolis Garcia led your team with 75 RBIs and 19 home runs, which was third on the team. You'd expect a little bit more from someone like Adolis Garcia, who, decent outfielder, but he's known for his power, especially after the 2023 World Series. Wyatt Langford had a good year, 22 home runs. Corey Seager had 21 in only 102 games. So if he was healthy, he's probably putting up 30. He's probably putting up a home run season. But then it kind of falls away a little bit where you've got like the likes of Jake Berger, Marcus Simeon, Josh Young, Jonah Heim, just all kind of contributing a little bit of offense, but there's no real standout star. On the positional side, who would you say anchored down the offense this year for the Rangers?
That's kind of a tough one to me because they all had some sort of injury to it. I would say Langford, did it for the most part because other players, the players that you named off, were hurt for the most part. Yeah. You actually had a spark plug in my mind, who I'm a fan favorite of, is Cody Freeman. When Cody Freeman came in, he was kind of the spark plug of the team for a little bit. And then you had all these, like I said, all these young kids. You had Justin Harris, to name one. I like Justin Harris. And then you had Durant for a little bit, Smith. So you had different factors going into 2025, which really helped me out. But I think it was more of Langford that really was the guy that took the lead because he wasn't hurt as much as the other players were.
Yeah, and as we've said, I think if Corey Seager plays 130 games, he's probably getting to 28, 29 home runs. Marcus Simeon only played 127. Jake Berger only played 103. I was really excited for the Jake Berger signing because he'd obviously done really well with the Marlins in 2024. They play indoors, so there's similar to Lone Depot Park, Globe Life Field is an indoor park. And I thought Jake Berger was going to put up a big season, but he was sent down to AAA at one point as well. But that's baseball. You can get streaky sometimes. What wasn't streaky, though, was your pitchers. Your pitchers were outstanding. Headlined by Jacob DeGrom. Proper full season coming back from injury. 30 games, 2.97 ERA, 12-8 record. I don't like looking at records because that shows to me that he didn't have enough offense. Also in that rotation was Jack Leiter, who's I know is a young gun coming through. He made 29 starts, 3.86 ERA. Patrick Corbin was durable, 4.4 ERA as well, was a much improved season. Nathan Eovaldi, as we've mentioned, he was out injured for a while. He had a 1.73 ERA. And then Tyler Marley, again, injuries, only started 16 games, but he pitched a 2.18 ERA. So who was the real highlight of the starting pitching for you? And why is the answer Jacob?
For me in the beginning, it was Eovaldi until he got hurt. Because he was coming in hot. Like every time I would see him, it seems like he was doing great. And then he just wound up getting hurt. So it kind of like threw off the, it kind of threw off the notion of, man, these guys are going to be good. I thought they're going to be a playoff team. I thought they were going to wind up winning it, like the AL West. But then he went down, and I'm like, what else? What else is going to happen? And then slowly but surely more players went down. And then the Rangers winded up trying to get a pitcher from Arizona, which that didn't pan out as what I expected. They gave up 3 pitchers, two lefties and 1 righty. So I mean, I'm hoping going forward that we get the Eovaldi of 2025 before the injuries.
Yeah, I think he will bounce back. I believe it. I don't think it was Tommy John. I think it was a rib injury, if I'm correct. I don't know how I know that.
That's what I saw.
Yeah, I don't know how I know that off the top of my head. I just remember Nathan having a rib injury randomly. I didn't pay too much attention to the Rangers this year. The AL West is a bit of a blind spot for me. I know the Mariners, and that's about it. I tend not to care about the Astros for obvious reasons. Trash bin lids and everything included. But yeah, for me, your pitching was superb. And then in the bullpen, you had Hoby Milner, who's now on my Chicago Cubs, 3.84 ERA. Jacob Webb, 3 ERA. Again, he's also on the Cubs. I don't know why. I don't know. We've just want to pick up all the Rangers bullpen from last year. Phil Maton, again, another pitcher, 3.52 ERA. Yeah, it was just a really, really solid, it was just a really solid pitching staff. So I guess, your pitching's so good. Your pitching's probably top 10 teams ERA wise across the board. But then your offense is so mediocre. Do you see the offense taking a step forward next year? Do you see the pitching regressing a bit? What's your general feeling?
So, my feeling is that these players that were hurt, the first Berger, Jock, they're all going to come back because I think Peterson is on his walk year this year. He's on a 2-year deal with us, so I'm assuming that he wants to do good before he hits the free agency. So it's a contract year for him. So I think that there's going to be more, especially with Nemo coming in. Nemo coming in. He's going to have a lot to do with it. So that's what I think. I think they're going to have bounce back years, but do I think that it's going to set us apart from Seattle? Probably not. I think we're in it for the wild card more than anything, just because of we don't know what to expect from a full season. If we get a full season from Jake Berger, we don't know what we're getting into with these players as well. If Young is going to be with us for the rest of the season, or if they're going to trade him away.
Nice. And I mean, looking at your projected lineup for next year, as you said, there's a lot. The only real change is Brandon Nimmo and Danny Jansen as your sort of two main additions. Your projected lineup, you got Langford in the outfield with Nimmo and Evan Carter, Jake Berger, Josh Smith, Corey Seager, and Josh Young around the horn, Danny Jansen behind the plate, and your DH is Jock Peterson. So, no Adolis Garcia, no Jonah Heim, but I feel like you've replaced them pretty well with Nimmo and Danny Jansen. I guess, one more note on the 2025 season. We've sort of said, what didn't go so well. What didn't go so well with regards to the offense. What was a real highlight for you last year? If there was one moment that stuck out.
For me, man, that's gonna have a good one. I think honestly, for me, because I'm gonna be honest with you, since I'm a big Cody Freeman fan, huge Cody Freeman guy. It was seeing him play and what his ability was, in the Texas Rangers, because I've seen him at Round Rock, I've seen him with the Frisco Rough Riders, and he knows how to play. He plays wherever he wants to play. It wasn't just, and I know I'm supposed to be as a whole team, but as an individual person, it's just seeing Cody Freeman play. How he plays. Nothing's really changed with him. It was just more, hey, I just want to play, and he was able to get there. And I remember them calling him up, and I'm like, dude, I'm very proud of this guy. I'm a huge Cody Freeman guy. So just seeing him play, and it was just very wow for me.
Nice. And that's always a nice feeling when there's someone whose career you followed all throughout, from the draft through the minor leagues, when you finally see them debut and you're like, yeah, you sort of well, maybe you can say you sort of grow it up with their career. So it's a nice warm feeling inside. Anyway, enough about 2025. We're sticking it in the box. We're locking it away. Third in the AL West. Didn't get a wild card, but neither did the Astros. So, we'll take some bit of comfort in that. We're looking forward to 2026. We've gone through the predicted lineup as it stands. Your rotation, it's very top heavy. You've got Jacob DeGrom and Nathan Eovaldi as your sort of aces, which I think is a great 1-2 punch. I can't think of many other 1-2 punches. Maybe off the top of my head, the Red Sox with Crochet and Sonny Gray now could be a good 1-2 punch. Yankees have got Freedom Rodon.
And Cole coming back too.
Yeah, Garrett Cole. don't talk to me about Garrett Cole coming back. Be a bit excited. I haven't seen him in a while. But it's I'd say it's a top 5 1-2 punch. Jack Leiter coming back, and then you've got Kumar Rocker and Jake Latz currently projected to be your starters. That's a rotation that I think you could do a little. You could have another starter. I feel like that would be very, very good for you. I don't think Kumar Rocker was very good last year. On that note, are there any free agents or trades out there for players that haven't yet been picked up as of the 14th of January that you would like to see the Rangers pick up?
I really don't. I want to see them going internal. I think a lot of people have Kumar Rocker going into the 4th or 5th starter. I see him more as a reliever before he goes into a starter.
Yep.
So I see him. The pitching lineup that I have is Eovaldi, DeGrom, Leiter, Jacob Latz, Latz, and then Cody Bradford coming into it. So, I mean, they're both coming back from injury. So I see them actually, the players that they picked up that they added to the 40-man roster, I see them coming in. I see Rocker coming in, being as a reliever for the first month or so. And then there's another guy named Jose Cornell. I probably said his name wrong. He's probably going to come back and be a reliever as well. And then they're going to move Rocker to the starting rotation. And then they have Winston Santos, who was in AA, now he's in AAA. And so I see them doing that for a little bit. But because of Jansen, is it Jansen? I always mess up his name. Jansen, because of Jansen coming in to the signing a 2-year contract with the Rangers, I see a lot of youth movement in their pitching, and him dealing with the youth, the younger kids.
Yep. Fair enough. Like there's some big names out there still. You've got Framber Valdez. And Zach Gallen is the biggest two. I don't personally see the Rangers making a move there. I could see them maybe going for like a Jose Quintana or a Patrick Corbin, bring him back, just a little bit of rotation help. Maybe Chris Bassett from the Blue Jays. Can I tempt you with any of those, or are you happy with your 2 aces and then internally?
Well, I think that they're probably going to go with someone that if it was me, I would go with someone. I would buy low with the expectation of trying to release them later on, and going from there. I don't like to say that, but the players that they picked up this offseason, they're kind of doing that with them. They're like, hey, we'll sign you to a contract. We know you had a bad 2025 season. We just want to see how if you could recoup this year. So I think that they're going to try to buy low, sell high, and once they know that they're going to be out of the playoff contention.
Fair enough. Similarly, on the positional side, I think you've got quite a solid team from the projected lineup. Can I tempt you with anyone that's still on the market? Anyone you'd like to see the Rangers go out and splash big on?
Because, honestly, they don't have a right fielder that they could actually – they don't have a solid right fielder. They're going to be moving a lot of positions. They're going to be moving people from left field to right field. I could see them trying to go for a right fielder. Yep. But, that has another issue to it. I could see them trying to go for a first baseman, but they have Berger there. And then they have Mr. Ortiz, who's in AAA, who they just added to the 40-man roster. Yep. They could use him at first base, or they could use him at right field. They have a hole at second base. That's what I think, that they have a hole. They have I think they have 5 or 6 internals for trying to compete for second base right now. They have Justin Foscue, Smith, Duran, all bidding for second base. I don't see them actually spending money on those positions. But I go back to your pitching situation. I do see them. I might see them go back to pitching for a little bit, just so they could not call up certain players, so they could have more years of control over them. You know how players they leave players at a certain. So that's what I'm thinking too.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I'm looking at the names of the free agents. There are two that really stand out at me. Unfortunately, one of them has just copped an 80-game ban for Peds, and that's Max Kepler. I think Max Kepler and the Rangers outfield would have been very good, but ultimately you're not going to sign him for half a year at this point.
No.
But one man who was on the Cubs last year and wasn't very good for us, but was very good for the Twins, Willie Castro. He can play second, he can play short, he can play third, he can play corner outfields. That I'm going to say it right now. Willie Castro is going to the Rangers. You can get him pretty cheap. He can be a nice bench piece, utility player.
Yeah.
Give you good glove, average offense. Yeah. I can see that being a fit personally.
Yeah.
Whether or not, I don't think he displaces any of your starters apart from maybe at second base. But we'll see. And that's part of the fun of the season.
Yeah, the thing right now with the Rangers is that they have these position players, these young position players in AAA and High A that are very versatile. Like they get them, and then they're very versatile. Cody Freeman plays every position except first base. I consider him like a Craig Biggio, where Craig Biggio played every position. Yeah. So that's what they're doing. Justin Foscue. He plays second, he plays first. And so, yeah, that's what they're trying to do with all these players in the minor leagues, just trying to get them more versatile as opposed to just playing one position. That's why Blaine Crim was kind of DFA'd. He was only used for first base and DH. So, like, I feel like they kind of needed more from Blaine Crim as far as, hey, we need more positions from you.
That's fair enough. Anyway, enough about trading and free agents, the fun part. Just, one more thing I just want to touch on is you're losing a fair, some big players for you. You're going to lose. You lost Merrill Kelly, who's the starter that you acquired from the Diamondbacks, who's gone back to the Diamondbacks. Yeah. You're losing 3 good pitchers in your bullpen with Phil Maton, Hoby Milner, and Jacob Webb. Another relief pitcher, Sean Armstrong, who didn't go to the Cubs. He went to the Guardians, which makes a bit nice of a change. And then for me, the biggest one is Tyler Marley, who's gone to the Giants along with Adolis Garcia and Jonah Heim. Jonah Heim's yet to be signed. Adolis Garcia has gone to the Phillies. What do the Rangers need to do to fill the void that these 7 or 8 players, because they were key players for the Rangers. They may not have been playing well, but Adolis Garcia and Jonah Heim were a big part of that World Series run in 2023. So what do the Rangers need to do internally to get back to the level that they were at?
So I think the biggest thing is that what everybody wants them to do is spend money, and the Rangers are like, hey, we don't want to spend money. We have a good manager who won Manager of the Year in 2023. And then we have prospects that we could probably do. And I think it's easy for us to, as Rangers fans like myself, sit there and say, hey, we want you to get all these players. Why don't you do it? And, I don't think that they're going to do it. I think right now they're just trying to change their mindset of, hey, it's not working. We didn't work. We won the World Series a couple of years ago. That worked. We need to try to do it again, but let's just change it a little bit. And I think what they're trying to do is that they're trying not to spend money. When they do, they're trying to be very smart about it. And then, we could sit there and pretend to be like, hey, like we could trade this player, but they're all becoming fan favorites. Young is becoming a fan favorite. Wyatt is becoming a fan favorite. Carter is becoming a fan favorite. So they have a core of players that are homegrown talent. But I don't think that the Rangers are going to go out there and spend the mass money that the fan base wants. It's going to be hard, but it can't be worse than the Mets and what the Mets did and stuff like that. So, yeah. And I think they need to go for, like, we have so many holes in our team that it's just kind of hard to figure out which one's more important. We're always going to have issues in pitching, either starting or closers. Offense-wise, Garcia was good, but he would strike out a lot. So, stuff like that. It's like, what's more important to us? Is it getting on base? What is it?
That's fair enough. And I think ultimately that is going to be driven by. I think Skip Schumacher is a very good manager. What he did with the Marlins in 2023 was my first year of baseball fandom, and the Marlins got to the playoffs throughout. Don't know how, especially with that team that they had, and you see it now, and they kind of came back in 25 a little bit, but it was a little bit rough for him in the middle there. And I think with Skip Schumacher at the helm, 2026 could be the Rangers' year.
I don't want to go that far. I think it's going to be more 2027, 28 for them, because he did sign a 4-year contract with them. I want to say I'm sorry. I know it's going to be you said 2026, but I think more 27, 28, because they have so many prospects.
Yeah.
At Frisco, and they have so many prospects below single A and double A that they could work something out.
Fair enough. I was just trying to be nice and hopeful for you. But, you will know more than I do. So 2026, you will have a winning record. 2027 onwards, we push for the wild card and beyond. That's a couple more questions. We're going to sort of wrap up this season review. Can I tempt you with a little bit of Vegas odds, under over on the wins? What are you predicting for the Rangers next year?
You can, man. That's a tough one. I just thought of it before you're asking me that question. They had 81 wins. I think this year they're going to be at 84.
84, okay. And are you taking 84. The under or over? Under or over on 84? So I'll give you 83.5.
I'm going to go under.
Under. So predicting 8. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I think that's a realistic prediction. Someone came on and predicted 116 games that their team was going to win.
No, I won't do that for the Rangers, man. I think the Rangers have so many holes on the team that I think with Skip Schumacher being our manager, I think it's going to be pretty good. 80, I think what I said was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I think that's very realistic. I wouldn't be afraid to take the over on that one if the chips fall.
No.
Last question is, okay, I'm a new baseball fan. Just imagine sort of just discovering the sport for the first time. And I'm deciding which team I want to support for 2026. And I look down the list and I go, do you know what? I've heard about these teams from Texas. Houston Astros, I've heard they're cheating bastards. I don't like them. I don't like the fact that they bash their trash cans. I want to be a team that's going to spite them. I want to support the Texas Rangers. If I was going to be a fan of the Rangers for the first time, what have I got forward? Oh my God, it's very late. I apologize. I'm not going to edit this out either. What have I got to look forward to in 2026 if I'm a Texas Rangers fan?
I mean, you're not going to see in 2026. You're not going to see, how some teams not pour out. Just say, hey, this is our rebuilding year. We're not going to rebuild this year. We have veterans, and then we have rookies that are coming in. There's constantly going to be battles for positions. There's going to be battles for second base. There's going to be battles for first base. There's going to be battles for starting pitching. So all of our players are going to be battling for some sort of position. If you're not DeGrom, if you're not Eovaldi, if you're not Leiter, you're going to be battling for something. And if you're in that 40-man roster, these players are going to try their best to get up to the major leagues as much as possible. So there's going to be some grit. I like to say the word grit to these players. There's going to be a lot more. If you look at spring training, there's going to be, I think, what I counted was 7 players trying to win second base, because Josh Smith is that's not a guarantee that it's not a guarantee that it's his position. But we're going to have a lot of grit to it. We're going to have a lot of you have Nemo, you have Young, but we might be coming off of an injury. They might be coming off of an injury, but there's a lot of energy there.
Yeah. Fair enough. So a lot of grit, a lot of energy, and people fighting, which is always going to improve the competition of the team. I think that's very, very well put.
Yeah.
And, thank you so much, Jeremy, for taking part in our season review. I can't let you go, though. It's tradition on a Brit Does Baseball. I've got to hit you with a couple of start bench cuts.
Sounds like a deal.
That's kind of the payment for coming on. We don't pay you an appearance. You get to play start bench cut, which I think is arguably more important. Start bench cut. If you don't know how start bench cut works, as a viewer or a listener, it's pretty obvious. I'm going to give Jeremy 3 options. He has to start one, he has to bench one, and one he has to cut. We have one baseball one and we have one non-baseball one. We're going to start with a baseball one, so then we can end on something that isn't baseball. Are you ready for your start bench cuts?
I am ready. I'm writing it down, so I kind of have an idea.
Perfect. So, we're going to start with three, I want to say the veteran players that left the Rangers this offseason. Yeah. And it's who would you love to see back on the Rangers at some point in the future? Whether that's in a managerial role as sort of like a Hall of Famer or even back as a player. Just sort of, how, the good memories, they're all part of the 2023 World Series teams. They're always going to have a special place in your heart. I just want you to start one, bench one, cut one, how much you'd love to see them back on the Rangers. You've got Jonah Heim, Adolis Garcia, and Marcus Semien.
You said Heim, Semien, who else? Garcia?
Adolis Garcia.
So looking at this part, I'm going to cut Garcia.
Oh, okay. Straight away.
Because, yeah. And then you said Semien? Seager?
Yeah. Semien and Heim.
Heim would be benched.
Yep.
And then you would have Seager, right?
Marcus Semien starting, yeah.
Semien, I'm sorry. Semien. Sorry.
No worries. Why are you starting Semien over Heim and Garcia?
I mean, it just depends. Like, for me, I've always liked Semien. Even when he was with Oakland, I've always liked him.
Yeah.
He was very but he's been playing he plays about 150 some games every season. He's not Cal Ripken, but he's going to be playing mostly every game. Jonah, I mean, I would bench Jonah. I don't know too much of him to look at it from that perspective. I would just bench him to have him on my bench. Garcia, I've seen a lot of him, but every time that I see him striking out. And so striking out, I always see him striking out or like leaving a runner on base. I think that was the biggest issue too. Every time that I would see him, he would leave a runner on base or try to go for the fences. And so I'm like, I would bench Garcia. It won't be the first time he's been cut. So yeah.
Throwing shots. I love it. That's the baseball start bench cut. So we're going to end with a can't think of the word, a non-baseball one. Texas, known for their steaks. Am I right? One of the best states in America for meat. So I've got 3 steak types. I need you to start one, bench one, and cut one. I will give a caveat. If you don't like the 3 cuts that I've chosen, you are more than welcome to replace one of them for one that you may prefer. So the 3 cuts I've got a nice sirloin, I've got a nice delicate fillet, or I've got a tomahawk. What would you start? What would you bench? What would you cut?
And it's going to surprise you, but I'm not really a steak guy, even though I'm from Texas. It's like asking me if I'm a barbecue guy. I'm not a barbecue guy because even though I'm from Texas, I really don't like barbecue or steaks. But usually if I were going to pick this, and I know my wife is probably going to be mad because I'm probably choosing the wrong one. Because she usually, when I get a steak, I usually ask her which one's the best one. And every time that I order, it's like, okay, I don't know what to order. So I'm assuming a tomahawk is the best one. So I would start that one.
Nice choice.
I think. And then I would do a sirloin as a cut. And then the filet?
Yeah.
As a bench.
Okay, that's a nice choice. I'm personally, I'm not big on fillets. I think they're very overrated and they're always the most expensive. I like having fat on my steaks. If you're not much of a steak guy, what can I tempt you with on the menu?
For me, I would be more of a it's more buffalo wings, chicken wings, the sauce. So I'm more into that. So I'm more into that type of stuff, burgers.
I absolutely love that. What's your go-to chicken wing sauce?
I mean, for me, we have. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's gonna be the Frank's hot sauce. You put that shit on everything.
We have that. So that's what
So I usually put that on everything. And I put that on pizza. I put that on everything. So that's just usually my go-to. That's usually Frank's buffalo hot sauce. So that's usually what I do.
I still think that's better than a fillet steak. So I don't even think it's close either. Jeremy, you've been fantastic. So thank you so much for joining me on this cold, dreary Wednesday night where I am, and a nice sunny afternoon where you are. So I'm glad you've got the nicer weather. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I've been Gary. This has been a Brit Does Baseball Does podcast. It does season review. Still a mouthful, and this is like episode 11 or something ridiculous like that. We will catch you on the next one. Thank you and goodbye.